Good afternoon. I'm Allison Penna, aka Bad Widow, and the thing I want to talk to you about today is when you get ready to date, what do you do first? Because ultimately, you are the most important person in starting to date. You are the one that matters more than the people you are looking to date, significantly more. But we don't treat it that way. We treat it like the other person is more important than we are. Very often. So how are we going to dress to attract this person? How are we going to look to attract this person? And fundamentally, that's a flawed strategy, because if you do that, then you're not actually being yourself. You're trying to be the self that you think that this other imaginary person might want. So in order to get ready to date, which is what you have to do before you actually start to do it, you have to let go of the past failures and disappointments somehow. And what happens very often when we fail at dating, when we fail at love, when we're disappointed for any reason, is that we grieve the loss of what we imagined our life would be with that person. The loss of even going on another date, what that would be. And because we honor grieving with our heads more than grieving with our bodies, grieving embodied, what happens is those pockets of grief get kind of stored in us. And if we don't release them, if we don't allow ourselves to grieve the past, then it's impossible to move on to the future. What happens is that organically we begin to assume that the past is a predictor of the future. So if there have been bad dates in the past, there will be bad dates in the future. And that's what the possibilities are. So we narrow our possibilities by refusing to grieve the past. Because maybe it wasn't a fit. It doesn't actually matter. If there was something that you saw was possible in a date, in a relationship, with a love, that was true. That was really true. And so there's some grief that exists in there, and healing that grief is really, really important. And I work a lot with this. The second is, let's see. So the next thing is to look at how much you're wanting from your date. We either want too much or too little. So having a good dinner, maybe you could want more than that. Maybe you could want someone who's talking about things that interest you. Maybe you could actually set it up so that those are the kind of people you attract. Or wanting too much, going on a first date, as I said in one of my previous broadcasts, and saying, looking at the person and saying, is this the person I'll spend the rest of my life with? You don't know. When I first started dating, after Dave died, as a widow, I couldn't stand to be touched. So even the question of chemistry was not a legitimate question for me. I needed to go along and not even worry about the chemistry for a while, because my skin only wanted Dave's skin. So chemistry was not even an issue. And then as I got more and more connected with this one man, the chemistry showed up. But it took a while. So chemistry is something we assume, like when we're in our 20s or our teen years. It's just this hot flash, this flush. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can come later too. What's the next step? So to get ready to date, you have to be willing to take a step. Now, the interesting thing is that it can be any step. It can be going out and going to a party or a bar or wherever you meet people and being willing to talk to people who are possible. Being willing to be set up on a date. Being willing to open up and write a profile and get on an online app. The most interesting thing is it doesn't matter what you do. If you take a step, any step, you move forward. Because it's like red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, which I used to play when I was a kid. There's one person, they say red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, and you run forward, and the idea is you're trying to touch that person. Every time you run forward, you gain a new perspective. Every time you take a step towards dating, into dating, every time you own that, whatever the step, you have a new perspective. From that new perspective, you can make new choices. So it's really a matter of just stepping forward. So first, ask yourself, how are you holding yourself back? You are the most important element. Second, know that you must heal the disappointments and failures from the past to move forward. And you must heal them not just with your head. Okay, I'm over that, I'm done. That person was a bad person, or I made a bad choice, or whatever, but also embodied. Let go of the grief, any other feelings that might be there. Has to be both head and body. Otherwise, it doesn't take. Want exactly what you want. Not too much, not too little. Okay, just right. You're looking for just right. And take a step. Take your first step. If you would like a PDF on 3 common dating disappointments or failures and some very basic steps on how to heal those, type let go. Thank you. That's it. Allison Penna, aka Bad Widow. I'm planning on doing 100 of these. So stay tuned, ask to be notified, all that jazz. Thanks. See you tomorrow.